Good afternoon, and welcome back to my No Name YouTube channel. And this is another update on Bali and what's been happening here with the COVID-19. And today, April 21st, I'm not sure. I think it's April 21st. Could be April 20th. What's happening? We have 140 confirmed cases now, and 3 deaths. And the government is in the process of testing as we get test supplies, test kits sent here. The government has tested so far, they say, 18,000 rapid tests, and a lot of these people that are being tested are on our newly returned overseas workers. And I mentioned this last time, the last video. So we're getting back, and I think there's, I don't know, somewhere around 22,000 overseas workers working in hotels, spas, cruise ships, and they're coming home, and so they're being tested. Now, what happens with them, and this has changed a little bit, I think from the last time, if they're tested positive, depending on their condition, they're either sent to a hospital, or if they're positive but show good signs, they're sent to a government quarantine facility where they're monitored by medical professionals. If they're tested negative, they're sent to government quarantine. Before, they were being sent back into the community where they could be quarantined at home. That's been changed, partly in response to some pushback from local communities who were afraid of having people working overseas coming back into the neighborhood. And so the government now is providing facilities for these returning workers. And up here, a number of hotels were listed in the news, and so they're most of them were down in Lovina. My wife told me this morning that 300 returnees, I'm not going to verify that number, that's what she's heard in the neighborhood, are being put up at the, well, it used to be called the Pop Hotel. I think it's called Hotel Singaraja now, right down the beach street from us. Yeah, there is a little bit of a beach there, and so that's kind of the main focus right now. It's on these overseas workers to make sure that they're not bringing back virus with them into the community. According to the government, local transmissions are very low. Most of the cases are coming from people coming into the island from outside. So those are the numbers, and that's what the government is doing right now in terms of testing. And what about the mask and social distancing? Well, masks are required, as I mentioned. Markets, the traditional markets, the supermarkets, a lot of shops, no mask, no service. Great idea. The social distancing, that's been a little difficult, and so the governments, local governments, have been closing down certain areas under their authority, and so this includes parks and sports fields in some areas, roadside warungs that have seating have been in Tabanan. The police came by and confiscated the tables and chairs because they wouldn't abide by the no dine-in rule, only takeout allowed, and so they were not following regulations, and so the cops came and took their tables and chairs. That's one way to get them to follow the rules. And we still have some tensions going on social media between foreigners and foreigners, foreigners and Indonesians, Indonesians and foreigners, Indonesians and Indonesians. Completely unnecessary. What's it about? It's about wearing masks. It's about social distancing. It's about respecting the closure of beaches and parks. And so there have still been tourists entering into beaches that have been officially closed. One photo showed a tourist crawling on the ground underneath the fence to get into the beach. And in another case, a guy pulled down a fence with his motorcycle. And so this is still a problem. And so everybody, foreigners, locals, everybody needs to follow the rules, and especially for us. For foreigners, we're here, like I said last time, we're a guest. Whether or not you agree with the rules, quit whining about, oh, I should be allowed to surf, I should be allowed to swim, I should be allowed to walk on the beach. Do the rules. Follow the rules. Locals don't do it. Let the police and the local authorities take care of that. Okay? All right. So, economy. So the economy is a big thing all over the world, right? When is it going to open? When are people going to go back to work? If you keep track of what's going on in the U.S., you can see the president encouraging social rebellion against governors who are legally telling people that they need to stay home. The president is encouraging people to liberate areas. So the issue of opening up businesses and opening up facilities, sports facilities, beaches, it's hot everywhere. And Bali is another case, although here people are following the rules more or less. No protests. And so what's going on? There was a report that hotels were getting ready to open in May, which is less than 2 weeks away, to be prepared for influx of tourists from places where supposedly they have the virus under control. And China, Japan, and South Korea were mentioned. There's still problems in China and South Korea, although they do seem to have it under control for the most part. Japan is another story, and I'll be talking about that in my weekly news from around Bali and Asia. I was talking to a Japanese doctor last night. He said things are not looking good there. They were late getting things together, and they're paying the price now. Okay, so schools are still closed. Hotels, restaurants, things are shut down. We had 2 days ago, on the 18th, no international flights arrived. I don't think that's ever happened since I've been here. So, tough times. There's tens of thousands of workers that have been laid off already. Hotels, restaurants, like I said, still going on. NGOs and the government are still distributing aid packages, but this is only going to get worse the longer it goes on. They're tough times here, and I know some some tourists who frequent Bali regularly have been sending care packages to families that they've become close to. Good for you. People can use all the help they can get these days here. In a really positive move, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy prepared 600 food packages to distribute on the islands of Nusa Penida, where they're really suffering from the lack of tourism. And the water police delivered those packages yesterday. Well needed. Thanks for the police and the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. I like that. Up in Bulalang, dozens of transport drivers who ply the route from Singaraja to Denpasar, have been complaining that they have no business anymore. Nobody is going on this route from Singaraja to Denpasar. Travel has been reduced to almost nothing, where they used to maybe have 100 passengers a day, now they have 5. According to one driver, quoted in a Raider Bali story, 73 drivers are essentially unemployed at this point. And in the city, BMO drivers are having the same problem. You know what BMO is. If you've been here, if not, it's a small local transport. And BMOs get a lot of business from kids, from junior high school kids, even elementary school kids going to and coming from school. Now that the school's closed, none of that. There's no business there, with less people willing to be packed into the BMOs, because BMOs, if you've ever been in a BMO, all you know, you get stuck in there like sardines in a can. And so, according to one local BMO driver, people are preferring to take private transportation. If they have a car, they drive in a car. If not, they're taking their motorbike in order to keep social distance. This is the situation here. People are getting serious about this as the cases rise. You know, it wasn't that long ago we had none, 2, now we're up to 140, and as the tests go on, that number is going to continue to rise. How much, nobody knows. There have been all sorts of theories about the low number of confirmed cases in Bali, but it's just all talk. Nobody really knows what's going on at this point. And so, so we're waiting to see what happens, and in the meantime, well, it's a beautiful day, sunny, breezy, and we're on the cusp of the dry season. I keep waiting for it. Hopefully my lungs will clear up once we get rid of some of this humidity. And on a sad note, the well-known, well-loved artist Simon, who has created the art studio, this crazy place, died a few days ago. Simon was a friend of mine. I really enjoyed our talks. Somebody even more eccentric than me. Simon's artwork is just fantastic, and you can see here there's a few of his pieces. I used to go to the art zoo. The art zoo is this wild place. Buildings all around. I think 22 Ara, he told me one time. Buildings all around, paintings and sculptures and statues everywhere. A swimming pool. Simon would often greet people laying in his favorite hammock. And we had some great talks, Simon and I, about life here in Bali, about the U.S., politics, art, anthropology. Simon was 73 years old when he died, and he's going to be sadly missed by his friends and by art collectors around the world. Rest in peace, Simon. I'll miss you. And that's about it. I'll do another update in a few days, or if anything startling happens, and the weekly news report will be online by Friday. It looks like that's the day I'm going to start doing these. And in the weekly news report, I'll be talking about what's going on in Asia. I have conversations with people all over Asia. I have friends in Singapore and China, Taiwan. And so I'm going to cover some of those areas and what things are like there, as well as Indonesia, and not just the coronavirus. Got some sex scandals in Korea that are always interesting to read about. And so that's it for today. Stay home, stay safe, be kind to someone.